Hi, it's Don Southerton and your weekly episode of Everything Korea. Each week we try to share with you a snapshot of Korean global business. So to begin this week, we're going to have a topic called Managing Expectations. So, this is digging deeper into the toolbox and what are the alternatives? Communicating expectations is perhaps the greatest culture-related challenge in global business. Repeatedly, I witness a gap in what is expected and what is delivered. But before I share more, in working with Western and Korea teams and management, I listen carefully for questions raised in mentoring sessions and the concern that surfaces. I then probe to get a clearer understanding. This week's topic surfaced recently in many of the mentoring sessions. So, with regard to expectations, how, for example, Americans tackle a request and how Koreans would like a request varies. In the West, teams look for clear, defined objectives and goals. Then they work diligent and responsibly toward delivering within a set timeline and prepared to prearrange parameters. Similarly, Korean teams plan and execute, but with one difference: an unspoken expectation in Korea is that the team also looks beyond the narrow and defined scope of the request and provides some alternatives. This providing of alternatives for management to consider is not voiced or communicated. It's just the norm in the Korean workplace. This said, in several recent mentoring sessions with both Korean leadership and teams, the subject of alternatives came up. In both cases, work as requested was well done, but the Koreans had hoped for, and I stress the word hope for, some different options and some different ways of looking at it. In one of the cases, the Korean team member newly assigned to a local operation was puzzled, assuming work performed would include some suggestions too, preferably out of the box. I explained to the Korean team that the local American team was highly specialized and long-time seasoned employees, and they were used to providing a specific data, specific reports as requested. Frankly, they were not often asked to look beyond the scope of the request, or even ask for suggestions. I recommended that in all cases that when assigning a task or request, the Korean leadership and teams, would share that, that there is a deliverable in addition to just the project, and that might be to look out of the box for alternatives. I too recommended that this be a message that is shared often. In the next episode, I will reveal a little bit more of why Korean teams and leadership look for alternatives. So until next time, this is Don Southerton wishing you all the best.